4 phones, 4 different processors. How big are the differences between these 4? We have the Xiaomi CC9 with the Snapdragon 710, the Redmi K20 with the Snapdragon 730, the iQOO Neo using last year's flagship, the Snapdragon 845. Vivo are telling us that this thing is going to perform better during gaming than the Snapdragon 730. Then you have the K20 Pro on the far right hand side using the latest flagship processor, the Snapdragon 855. From most to least expensive, we have the K20 Pro, then the K20, then the iQOO Neo, and then the CC9. The CC9 really is focused more on the camera, but considering it is the same price as the iQOO Neo, more or less, you might be looking between those 2 devices. And the iQOO Neo is touted as one of the cheapest ways to get a lot of power. Using last year's flagship chip is a bit of a risk from the iQOO brand. Most people prefer a modern mid-range chip rather than an old flagship chip. In any case, we're doing 2 rounds of app opening, starting off with some web-based apps with quick loading times, and then the second half moving on to some fairly intensive games with long opening screens. This will test the processor and how good it is at loading the games. Just to make it fairer and to take out any human error or adverts during loading screens, we're going to perform this test 3 times on all of the phones. You can see the times and make your own mind up which one is the best value. No surprises that the K20 Pro was the fastest, but look at that iQOO Neo. It was surprisingly slow. The RAM management was really poor. I had to reload lots of games, and so it got a bad time. The second test is a 4K video export test. Actually, all of the phones except for the K20 Pro cannot export 4K video and had to downsample the 4K video into 1080p before being able to export. So only the K20 Pro is exporting a 4K video. The other 3 will be exporting a 1080p video. So keep that in mind when you see how quickly or slowly they are at exporting. Keep a close eye on the middle too, because iQOO are saying that their phone is better because it uses the 845, but it just got beaten with video exporting times by the 730 processor in the Redmi K20. We're waiting for the other 2 now, and the K20 Pro exports a 4K video quicker than the CC9 exports a 1080p video. Other aspects of the phone, such as fingerprint unlocking, they all have under-screen fingerprint scanners. Actually, the iQOO Neo seemed to be the quickest here, followed by the 2 K20 models, and then followed by the CC9. In real life, you can't see the difference. It happens so quickly. The phones are hot now. They are coming off the back of exporting that 4K or 1080p video. So Antutu benchmark scores won't be the highest they could possibly get. It's good to see how the chipset is throttled once it gets a little bit hot. The iQOO Neo has a good GPU score from that Snapdragon 845, but the CPU is much closer to the Snapdragon 730 in the Redmi K20. Okay, now we're going on to the RAM management test, opening up a list of apps and then going back through the apps to see which ones need to be reloaded. We've got a list of games and a list of very small web-based apps. They're the ones that might be closed down if RAM is getting a little bit low. Going back through the apps, the first app to be reloaded is PUBG. Did all phones keep that in memory? Yes, they did, so that's a good thing. All of these phones have exactly the same amount of RAM, so any differences we see should be minor, but let's go through the test. Back through to this game, Genuine Hui, they have all kept it in memory. Then going back through to FIFA, it's a big game, but it has been kept in memory on all of the phones. The next app to cycle back through is QQ Music. It's a smaller app and it often gets closed if RAM is tight, and you can see on the CC9 it was closed, so it had to be reloaded on that phone, but it was kept in memory on all the others. Subway Surfers also needed to be reloaded on the Xiaomi CC9, but the other 3 all kept it in memory. Now cycling through to Taobao, which is a shopping app, a small app, so it should be kept in memory on all of the phones, and it is. And then finally back through to the first app that we opened, which was Weibo, a web-based app. It was kept in memory, so the 3 on the right kept everything in memory, but the CC9 had to reload a couple of apps. Vivo promised a lot from this device, the iQOO Neo, giving great bang for your buck, a lot of power for a cheap price. But from what I can see, it doesn't really outperform the K20. The CC9 isn't as powerful as any of these, but that's not how Xiaomi are marketing this phone. This phone is all about the cameras. Way out in front is the K20 Pro. That is an absolute beast. What an amazing bang for your buck smartphone that is. It's the most expensive on this list, but it is much cheaper than a lot of other Snapdragon 855 phones.